All right. With the help of Hashem, we are learning Shabbos DAF Kuf Chof Tes. God willing, concluding today, Perek Mefanim. We are going to be learning the sugya of a yoledes, of the peace of mind that is so essential for a yoledes that we consider that in the category of pikuach nefesh. Thus, if need be, we can be machalal Shabbos to give her a better peace of mind. We're going to be learning about how long after giving birth can we still be machalal Shabbos for such a woman. Just to know that here in the sugya, a woman who gave birth already is called a chaya. So for how long does she have the status of a chaya? Whether it is for 3 days, for 7 days, for 30 days. This will lead us into the sugya of bloodletting. There's going to be a lot of tips regarding bloodletting. We're going to be learning about a certain type of deception harama that is allowed to preserve one's health. We're going to learn something very interesting, that there is one day in the year that a person can be exposed to the sun without any detrimental effects. And this is a piece of information that Shmuel didn't want to share with a non-Yehudi. He kept it for us, as we'll see today in the DAF. We're going to learn about the sensitivity that we have to wind after bloodletting. From that, we're going to go into the whole sugya of Tilias Hamazolos. We're going to learn also about why is it that we say the long tachlim, B'hurachum, Dafka Mondays and Thursdays. When it comes to the Tilias Hamazolos, what I'm referring to is that Hashem, who placed the Sheva Koich Veleches, Wednesday, meaning Tuesday night, they were placed in their orbit in a specific order. And there are certain influences that Hashem influences the world through those mazalas. And we're going to be learning about the mazel of Ma'adim. We're going to be learning about the planet of Mars, that the planet of Mars, B'chlal, can add a certain predisposition of something not positive. When you couple that with other non-positive koiches, like the koyach of pairs of zugais, as we'll explain, two things together, it creates a moment where there is a greater potential for something not good to happen. And how that affects, as we'll see, God willing, we'll explain why he said that there is a minig not to make kiddush Friday night from 6 to 7. And another gavaldik tip, when they get childbirth, that this is something that's still beyond our the current scientific knowledge, that if right after a woman gives birth, if we are to take her placentum and we are to envelop it in something to keep the placentum warm, that's going to keep the baby warm. That's going to keep the infant warm. So this is good to know. We have a doctor, world-renowned Dr. Daniel Hassan, gynecologist. Now you'll have a koyach that no one else has. If you keep the placenta warm after the birth, when it's not touching the baby, it's going to keep the infant warm, and that's to the benefit of the infant, and a lot more. We left off on the Kuf Chav Chesam Beis. We have to catch up. We are by the 2 dots. We are 12 lines before the bottom of the Amid. Right when the Gemara is referring back to the Mishnah, that miyaldin eso isha, the issue here is of tircha yisera, says Rashi. So it's interesting, even going back to the sugya before, Sar Balachayim trumps muksa, but it does not trump tircha yisera, as we see over here. So that's why there are limits as to how much tircha one may exert when it comes to helping an animal give birth. But when it comes to a human being, not only are we allowed to be mesadin, but we can actively give birth. And that's already because it touches upon pikuach nefesh. All right. So says the Gemara, Michti, behold, it says in our Mishnah, again, that we may actively deliver a woman, a baby, which means that when it comes to a isha, we put tircha yisera aside. Then the Mishnah added that you can summon a midwife. Summoning a midwife, first of all, walking beyond the 2 mil techum is a violation of a normal derabanan. But that we put that aside. If, according to many opinions, if you walk 12 mil or more than 12 mil, you are already violating a chilul Shabbos d'oraisa. that is also something that could be done. So once the Mishnah mentions that we're not concerned about Tirchi Yiseda, we're not concerned about Chilul Shabbos already. Again, 12 minutes of Doiraisa. So why did the Mishnah have to add the words? What else is that adding? Answers the Gemara that if a woman giving birth needs a fire, needs a candle, so then the din is someone else can light the candle for her. What does the candle help? As we'll see, it only adds her peace of mind. Yet that is pikuach nefesh. When the Rebbe made the whole campaign of having the shira malos in the rooms where women give birth, he was quoting this concept that the doctors will permit us to put it there because they also know that the more yishuv hadas, the more peace of mind a woman has, the safer it is for her and for her newborn baby. And if she needs oil, then then a friend can bring your oil in her hand. Now there's a nuance with the hand, says Rashi. Guys, look inside the first large Rashi, the first Rashi under the Gemara, biyad, b'chapa, in her palm, but v'loy bekeli, but not to bring it in a utensil. The issue of bringing oil is carrying. However, the chama, the efshed, however much possible, mishaninon, we change. So even when you have a heted, it's not go break the Shabbos outright. Minimize it. Carrying it in your hand is not the way people carry oil. And back inside the brayso, so the im einoi sipek biyad. But if she needs more oil than that which fits in the palm or in two palms, so then Mediyah b'sa'ara, she brings it in her hair. So vital. Continue inside that Rashi. The last word, right, on the first line under the Gemara, b'sa'ara. Second line under the Gemara. So that sacha sa'ara shamin. She should smear her hair with oil. Uchshava etzla. And when she comes to the miyaledes, is mekan chisoi. She'll take it out. And again, the ein kan chilul Shabbos, kiven she'ein derech chaytza abekach. Again, carrying oil in your hair is ein derech chaytza. So at least you brought it down to a derabanan. Now, back inside the brayso, the ein ein esifik b'sa'ara. But don't forget, if that is not enough, so then at the end, amekenish kemenish meviya labekeli. Then you bring it with the utensil. So ends the brayso. Now let's analyze this brayso. So Amar Mar. The Gemara finds it so obvious that pshita. Why says the Gemara? No, it's not pshita. Tzricha, because the woman who's the miyaledes is a suma. Not the yoyledes. The woman giving birth is blind. And now the payment given the leichazion, that she cannot see. In other words, she cannot derive benefit from the neir. You can't take it for her. On the brayso that since I suve miyasfa data, that her mind will be put at ease. Why will her mind be put at ease? Because Sabra shall now know, now that she knows that there is a neir, that if there's going to be something that will be needed to be done for me, someone else will have to have me. They already have a illuminated room. My friend will see it easily because there's light. And ba'avdali. Okay, so that peace of mind justifies a chilul Shabbos. Now here, my friends, again, you're lighting a candle. And the brayso continues. She brings it in her palm. If her palm is not big enough, then she puts it in her hair. All of this is an attempt of at least not violating Shabbos. Asks the Gemara, what did you accomplish by putting it in your hair? I get it. You accomplished, like Rashi says, that ain't that a chaytzah. Okay, good. So you're not violating hoitzah, but getting oil out of your hair, you're violating schita. So you substituted one issue for another. You didn't bring it down to a derabanan. Fragt die Gemara teper klei mishum schita gewaldig answers the Gemara that Rabbi Yosef Amrit Arbayu ain't schita b'seyar. No, there is no schita. Why is there no schita b'seyar? Look inside the last line in the Amid and Nashi. Because shehu kasher. Because the hair is hard. And the hair is not boileya. In other words, it's not that the oil goes into the hair. The oil is in between the hair. This is the whole question in the Periscope until today. We're brushing the teeth on Shabbos. I'm not even talking about toothpaste. I'm talking about even with water. The people who are matir use this concept because you're not squeezing it out. It's in between the little, whatever you call those things in the toothbrush. Like over here in the Seyar, Rashi says that even if you're going to say that yesh shchita b'seyar, nevertheless, you didn't understand the brayso. The brayso is not saying stop to put the oil in the hair. put it in a keli. So first of all, when you get the oil out, you're not doing schita. Again, you're carrying it, you're hanging the keli on the here. And all of that is because, like we mentioned, because the kama the efsher l'shanuye, as much as we can deviate mishadinon to bring it down to at least to a derabanan, and mechlal from this mechlal la bata shemeya hein, right? And not sinning, you make a shinui. In doing something right, don't deviate. By Hasidim, we grew up with that. People follow to do things exactly the way that Rebbe does it. Why? Because in the Toiv, you don't want to be mishana anything at all. Okay, says the Gemara. Chaya. Chaya is a woman who just gave birth. As long as the womb is open, the Gemara will define in a moment halachically until when that is. So now we're going to learn the girsa, not the way the Masayra Sashas amends it, but the way it's written in the Gemara. And the Gemara says like this. This is the first version of Amrav Mashmuel. Bein Amrat Tzrichani, whether she says, I need something that's considered essential. And if she asks, then you do it for her, even if it's Chilul Shabbos. Or Bein Loy Amrat Tzrichani, or whether she doesn't even ask for it. So if she's not asking for it, what's the issue? Someone else is saying, I want to do it for her. Since she's a chaya, then mechalul allows Shabbos, because she's a chaya with a kever pasua. But nistama kever, once the kever is closed, so then now bein amra, turning to today's daf kuf chavtes, right, top of the amid. Bein amra tzrichani, whether she says I need it, bein lo amra tzrichani, that's the gears that we're following, or whether she doesn't say I need it. Ein mechal Shabbos, you're not mechal al Shabbos, even though the chaverta wants to do it for her. Now, guys, even according to this version, if a mumcha says something has to be done, if a doctor says something has to be done, we do it. Say that, but it's not that, isn't it? Says the Gemara, I want you to know that this statement of Yehuda Amarav is only the way Rabbi Ashi taught it. But Marzutra learned Rabbi Yehuda Amarav making a statement even more lenient. A woman who just gave birth, we'll see you in a moment again what that is, when that is. Whether she says I need something, listen to this version. She says I don't want it. Not she doesn't ask for it. She says I do not need it. We don't listen to her. Wow. Because kever pasur. Once nistama kever, if she says tzricha ani, then your arma chalol Shabbos. Loi amra tzricha ani, if she doesn't ask for it, so then ein mechala Shabbos. Everything is a little bit more lenient, and ama lein. I mean, eliminema mazutra masnul lekula. Ravashi had the version of Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel lechumra. So the question is, so Amar lei. This is Merema answering halacha kimar sutra because of the rule of Safek Nefashes Lahakil, not Chilul Shabbos B'Machmer. No, Safek Nefashes Lahakil. Now that we had whichever version is correct, and we pass on like the latter one, what we have to clarify is halachically, when do we say that the womb closed? So says the Gemara, when is the beginning, when is the end? So Amar Abaya, and we're going to have over here really three shiur. Either Misha'a Sheteshev ala Mashbeir, right? There's a certain birthing stool that is a position which facilitates giving birth the best. It uses gravity. V'chulei. Rafuna Berei Rabbi Shua says Misha'a Shahadam Shoisis v'yoyed, when blood is dripping down. The Amri Law, or the third is Misha'a Shachavrei Sel Noisos Oisa be'agapeha, when her friends are holding her arms to help her walk because she already cannot walk by herself. Now, it's not that one necessarily happens before the other, and they are arguing how early you're on. Every woman is different. Certain women can sit on the mashbeh before the dam is shoises v'yored. Certain women the opposite. Certain women might need chavrei sel noises at first. So for every woman is different, and we actually say whichever one of these three things happened first. Now we say that for her the kever is pasur. Okay, so now what is the end? Ad masai psichas kever. Until when is it still open? So here we have three shiurim. Amar Abaye Shloish Yomim. Rava in the name of Rabbi Yehuda says Shiva, or the other version of Rava in the name of Rabbi Yehuda is Shloishim. And again, in halacha, it's not one or the other, but there are different stages for different halachas. And Amri Nahardoi, that right middle of the line of it. Chayam, the beginning of the medium size one. Chayam, we say that Gimel Zayin Lamed. I know it sounds like Gezel, but we're not making the abbreviation here. And Rashi points out it's 3 from the beginning of when the womb opens up. The 7 doesn't begin at the end of the 3. The 7 is also from the beginning. That means that you only have 4 days that you left the 3, but you are within the 7. Same thing with the shloishim. The shloishim is really 30 days minus the 7. It's really 23 days. Right the way lahavdul when it comes to shiva. Okay, you don't start the shloishim at the end of the shiva. You continue until the end of the shloishim. So bein amra tzrichani, bein amra loy tzrichani. Again, this is the version. Whether she says I need something or bein amra, she's saying I don't need mechalelin oleos hashabbos. That's the gimel. Okay, that is the latter version that we had, the kula dika version. Zayin amra tzrichani, then mechalelin hashabbos. But if she says amra loy tzrichani, unless a mumche gets involved, her chaveritas want to help her, but she says I don't need help. Vein ein mechalelin oleos hashabbos. Okay, and by the way, bimedayik also. If she says loy tzricha ein mechalelin, what does that infer? That infers that if she says nothing, if she says nothing, then in the 7 you still are mechalel shabbos. By lamed, afilo amar tzrichani, even if she says I need help, ein mechalelin oleos shabbos. However, even in the shloishim, aval oisen alidei armoi, but we do things for her through a goy. In other words, amira la'akum in the shloishim, she's considered already a chayla she'ein boy sakana. Okay, and that is something that you still can do through a goy. The Amar that he says that kol tzarchei chayla, again a chayla she'ein boy sakana, a chayla she'esh boy sakana is pikuach nefesh. You do it yourself. That kol tzarchei chayla nasin alidei armoi b'shabbos uchad Rav Hamnuna Amar Rav Hamnuna davar she'ein boy sakana oimer l'nochri ve'oisem. Very good. And by the way, that's the whole source of a Shabbos goy. In other words, we're speaking about she's in her 30 days. We'll see in a moment that what was needed a lot is making firewood. She should stay warm. We'll speak it out in a couple of lines from now when we speak about lighting a fire. You know, when you live before the technology that we have today, when you have a fireplace that's going to warm up your house, no matter how much wood you can put there before Shabbos, more wood will make the fire bigger. It's not going to make it last longer. So in order for the fire to burn the whole Shabbos, when you're living in a place where it's freezing, you're going to have someone throwing more logs in the fire during Shabbos. That's what, and everyone is allowed to do it. Because if you're going to get cold, you're going to get sick. And that's when the moment it comes to a chayla, then you can do it through a goy. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, Lachaya, Shloishim Yoim. Now, he cannot be referring to items that we just learned that will depend on 3, 7, or 30. He must be referring to something that for all the 30 days it's the same, because he's speaking about Shloishim Yoim. So now the Gemara says, what is he referring to? Because everything we mentioned above changes. 3, 7, or 30. Amri Narda, that this statement of Shmuel was Tefilla, whether a woman can go to the mikveh. Guys, the mikvahs today are warm. We're lucky. Mikvahs then were cold. A woman should not go to the mikveh during the 30 days. Now, Amar Rava, let's qualify that. Lo yamarin elo she'ein bayla imam. When are we saying that Shloishim Yom she's a chaya, don't go to the mikveh? That is, if a woman is not going to the mikveh to be with her husband. Yes, she's going to the mikveh because she wants to make taharos, and therefore she wants to go to the mikveh not to be metameit. But her husband is not home, and if she's going to go to the mikveh inside within 30 days of her kever pasuach, then she's going to get cold, she's going to get sick. But if her husband is with her, since baila mechamamam, the male, she can go to the mikvah and she shouldn't be worried. She's not going to get sick. And indeed, the Gemara says the story, Kiha de Berati de Rav Chizda, the daughters of Rav Chizda, that Tavla begoy Felice and Yoimin, that she went to the mikvah, Shaloi b'fnei Bailer, her husband was not there, and the eats to Nias, she got cold, and to prevent her from getting sick, they picked up her bed. She was in her bed, and they carried her to her husband to Rava, who was then in Pumpadisa, so she should be able to be warmed by him. Right, and we know this from the Sugya, but Hevya and Brachas Nunvav, right, that Rava married the daughter of Rab Chizda. That you are allowed to make a fire for a chaya on Shabbos. And again, what are we talking about, my friends? During 30 days. And she's not even asking for it, but she's automatically in a status that she's cold, and for a chayla, right, you go ahead and you make a fire. Savur mina, that lachaya in, lachayla loy, only for her, for a chaya. We also thought that this heter was only the Yemaisa Shanim. In other words, it's cold, but the Yemaisa Chama, then you can't make a fire for a chaya. And the truth is, let's go with the parentheses, v'lohi, leishna lachaya, leishna lachayla, leishna Yemaisa Shanim, leishna Yemaisa Chama, mi de itmar, Amar B'chia, Bar Avin Amar Shmuel, that hik is dumb, then it's tanein that if a person let blood and later became cold, we make a fire for him. My friends, the vart here of Rabbi Bar Avin is even on Shabbos, and even not only even on Shabbos, but even if you are in the middle of the summer when it's anyways hot, because at that moment your body is cold, it needs to be even warmed up more. Same thing is by a chaya, that you make a fire even the and any chayla, even not a chaya, if you're cold, if you say you're cold, then you also make a fire for that person on Shabbos. Okay, that's what I said. The whole Amira La'akum, it was used so much by having a Shabbos goy go into everyone's home during the winter to add fuel to the fire in order for the house not to get cold. Rav Moshe extended this also in the reverse, that now that we are living in a modern world with technology, that just like hakoil choylum eitzalatzina, if you're cold, you're choylum. She'ein by sakana, but you can do amira la'akum. That if you're very hot, if it's summer, now that we have air conditioning, he also held that here you are allowed to tell a guy to open up the air conditioning for you not to get sick. So listen to the link. So now that we spoke about a chaya who's always considered cold, and then we went into a person who was makis dam, again, that you machal Shabbos for them on Shabbos by lighting a fire, the whole sugya of Akaz Saddam. So let's start. Shmuel, Salachule, Taktaka, Shava. Imagine, Shmuel felt that after he let blood, that he needs to be warmed up. There was no normal fuel, so Salachu means they chopped up. Taktaka means as a benkel, a chair, that was made out of very expensive wood, in order to have fuel for his fire. And we're going to see Baltas just in a moment. The Gemara is going to ask them. And similarly, Rabbi Yehuda, also tzalachu means to chop up. Tzalachu le psoida diavna. There, the psoida, right? We say this by the Midrash that we have in our Sidurim. A table. He had a table. The table was also made out of special yavna wood, also expensive wood. And there was a time that he needed to have fuel, and he gave up his table for fuel. Le Rabba, tzalachu le his sharshifa. They chopped up his footstool. And Amar le Abaya le Rabba, how can you do that? The Ka'avar mar mishum bal tashchis. So Amar le, this is the big line. Bal tashchis the gufa yadafli. Okay, I'm going to keep my chair intact, and I'm going to get sick. No. You know, he felt not only it's not a heted, I'm a chuyev to take care of my health, and if I have to give up my chair, so indeed am I mechuyev to do. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Marav. That wearing shoes is so important, or in the negative, it's so degrading to walk around barefoot that a person should sell the roof off his head if he needs that funds to buy shoes. And yet, hikis dam if after you let blood, you don't have food, so then yimkar min ha'olam sheba'ragla, then even if you have to sell the shoes off your feet, In order to get a proper meal, because just like we're going now from warmth to food, it's necessary for your health. Shoes is for your dignity. Just to know, it's considered a tremendous busha. It's considered degrading. Degrading is not going to make you sick. Not eating will make you sick. What is the best food to eat after bloodletting? And let's also appreciate, as we'll see soon, they used to let blood very often, every 30 days, every 60 days, every 90 days. So Rav says basar, Shmuel says yayin, and they explain themselves. Rav holds basar. You know why? Because basar is called nefesh. Basar is life. A steak is life. So you gave up your blood, so you need life. So nafsha chalaf nafsha, life in the place of life. Shmuel said wine because he saw blood more as red, not as life. So wine, we're speaking about red wine. So yayin, why yayin? Because sumka chalaf, sumka red for red. And we have a simon in the parentheses, shenimsar. Every letter is another amoira, and all about hakozas dam. So Shmuel b'yoyim the avad milsam. Shmuel on the day that he underwent milsam means he underwent the procedure. The procedure means it was makas dam avad leitavshila. The tachale, he would make a dish out of tachale, his spleen. Now, what did Shmuel say before? Wine. Why wine? Because of red. So in meats, the reddest meat is spleen, and he ate it. So it was about he wanted to eat something very red. Rabbi Yochanan, he felt that no, it's taka wine, but not a little bit of wine. Shasa, he drank wine until the scent of wine can be picked up from his ears. Interesting lashon. That's how much wine he drank. Rav Nachman Shasi, Rav Nachman, after he did milsa, would drink how much wine? Ad the kafei techali, until his spleen was floating in wine inside his body. Interesting expressions. Rabbi Yosef Shasei Adenafik Meirivda de Chusilta. He would drink so much wine that you can smell the scent of wine from the punctures, from the lechalach that were made by the bloodletters. Rava Mahadra Chamra Bartulason. Tarfei Rava would dafka look for wine. Now here there's a machlekes in the Shayna what this 3-leaf wine refers to. Either it means it's he dafka wanted to get wine from a vine that already produced 3 leaves, which means it already went through 3 seasons. But the question everyone asks is, well, of course he needed to get wine that already, he got wine from vines that already gave leaves 3 times, because prior to that it's Arla. So it must be that it was, he wanted wine that's 3 years old. Well, this yain yashan, this yain miyushan, and the older the wine, the more benefit, obviously, if it's not mavushal, that the wine brings to you. I'm asking of you that on the day that you blood what he's telling you, tell your homes that Nachman ikva legaban, that Rav Nachman is going to be visiting us. It sounds like Rashi goes that it's not. That he was telling the students, your wives might not make such a good meal for you, but eating a good meal is very important on the day of Akaz Saddam, after your bloodlet. So tell them that the Rebbe is coming, so they're going to make a real meal, and then you'll have good, healthy food. So Rashi here writes, that's not what he told him. He told him to appeal to his wives that just the same type of meal you would make when the Rebbe would come, make just for your husbands, because they need the food for their health, because they were Makaz Dam. And now the Gemara is going to teach us a certain type of deception that we normally may not do, but we do it for one's health. The chulu aroine asire. All types of deceptions are prohibited. But aside of the following deception, the shari that was permitted again, all connected to Akaz Saddam, a person needs to take care of their health after Akaz Saddam, right? We have this machlekes, let's go with Shmuel. The doctor, wine, you have to drink wine. And if you cannot afford wine, what should you do? So listen to this. Manda Abed Milsa, person who undergoes this Milsa, you do the thing, you got bloodletting. I can't buy wine. This goes through the macha. Take a worn out zuz, take a old dollar bill that a merchant won't even want to accept. And Belelli l'shev chanvasa, go to 7 shops. Now the minig then, and in many places today, that when you go to buy something, before you buy it, you can ask for a sample. Go to a wine store and ask for a sample. So they'll give you a little shtick of wine. pull out your old dollar bill. You want to buy. When he'll see your dollar bill, he'll say, I don't want that coinage. Give me a better. The guy says, that's all I have. So he'll tell you, go away. Then you go to another store. And I want to buy, and they'll give you a sample drink. After you drink the sample, show them your old, worn-out currency. They're going to tell you, no, give me a good currency. You're going to say you don't have it, so they're going to send you away. Do that enough times. He's saying 7 times because they gave you very little samples, those cheapskates. So you needed to go to 7 stores to get a revius. They gave you a little drop. I mean, just to understand the poverty, then people had nothing. The time shiur until you have a revius. And that's the ideal. Now, the Eloi means you don't even have a worn out coin. So the ainli is such a big ainli. So then even though you can't drink wine, one of the issues is you're going to get cold. So we're giving you a remedy not to get cold, which is lechol sheif tamna ukma. So have 7 black dates and the leishuv mishcha b'tzidei, and rub oil into your temples. These 2 things will keep you warm. And not even that, but and go to sleep or rest in the sun. You might get sunburned, but at least you're going to stay warm, and that is of greater importance. So now that we're speaking about sleeping in the sun, or going too much in the sun, so we know this today, catching up slowly, that even though there are many rays of the sun that are very healthy, but there's also at the same time sun rays that are very unhealthy. We got to be careful. So Avlate is this non-Jewish chacham, who's this big astrologer, who was an acquaintance of the great Shmuel. Avlate once found Shmuel, the Gana B'Shimsha. Shmuel was sleeping in the sun. So Avlate was surprised. He says, Chakim Yudoi, you wise Jew, Bisha, something not good, Mi Hava Tava could be made good. In other words, there's more negative than the positive. So what are you doing? Amalei Shmuel responded, no, Yomi the Hakazu. Today I let blood, and even he understood that bloodletting, because of the coldness in the body and the importance of staying warm. So here, the good outweighs the bad. So is what Shmuel told him. The Gemara says, that's not what happened. And it makes sense because we just learned above that if you drink wine, when did the Gemara suggest to be in the sun? If you can't afford wine. Shmuel could afford wine. So for bloodletting, he would drink wine afterwards. Elama, why was he in the sun? Ella, Ika, Yoima Demali, Bashim Shabachuli Shato. Interesting. There's one day in the entire year that sun is beneficial. Sun will not hurt you. And what day is that? This is the secret that he didn't want to give away. Yoima the Nafla Beit Kufas Tammuz, the day of the summer solstice. I just checked that this year, Tafshin Pei, in the Goyish calendar was June 20. So if you go sailing and you get stuck in the sailboat, like happened to someone over here, you're not going to get that burnt if it would have been on that day. But if it's not on that day, are you going to get burnt? And the Savar, Shmuel thought that I will not reveal this to this Avlate. Very interesting. Look how much science still needs to catch up. So the Gemara is telling you that on the day of the Tkufas Tammuz, you can go back in the sun and nothing is going to happen to you. Okay. Now, a siman is Heikel Beruach Tamo Shah Sim. Says the Gemara. Rav Ushmuel Damri Travayu. Koi Hamekel B'Sudas HaKolas Dam. Whoever is going to not going to be so medagdik, the person feels healthy. HaKolas Dam, I don't have to eat. I don't have to worry about my health. It's so bad. You're being so hefkerdik with your health. You know what Hashem reacts? God forbid. They're not going to give you so good parnas because they're going to say that he on his health doesn't care what we're going to go give him parnasa. You take care of your health, and then God is going to help you with your parnas. Wow. Rabbi Shmuel the Amri Karvayu, the second from the Simon. Hayman the Avid Milsa, for person on the dead Milsa. Should never sit in a place where there's wind, because because maybe the bloodletter took out too much blood, and we know that to live you need to have at least one of these. The umana only left in the body one of these. Now, what happens when you have the minimal amount of blood, Dr. Daniel? The blood goes to the vital organs because that's where it's the most important. But if the body gets cold, then the body's going to want to warm itself. So the body's going to send the blood to the hands, to the feet, right, to the extremities. It's going to leave the inner organs. The person can die. For Azi Zika, the shoif minain, the blood, the wind is going to come, and the wind will cause for that minimum amount of blood to be drawn out of the inner organs, and now we have a gavaldik statement of Shmuel, how careful Shmuel was with wind. Shmuel have a ragil, the avad milsa. You know where Shmuel had his blood let? Bebesa, in a home that was wind free. How did he make sure that no wind is blown there? Because it was the shave leveinayu va'aricha. What we have in the beginning of Bava Basra, by Hezekriya, the different sizes of bricks. A brick is 3 tvachim wide, and Oriach is a half, is 1.5. So imagine he had a house whose walls were made out of 7 rows of bricks plus a half a brick. That's 22.5 tvachim. The herst. Then he felt no wind will come in. And even and look at this Yom Echad of it. It was one day that he went into that environment and he did the bloodletting. But Argish Benafshi, and he felt that he wasn't feeling well. So he went and he examined, and what did he discover? That the half a brick row was missing. You need to have 7.5. And only when you have such a thick wall, right? Lahavdil in the base of Midrash, we learn in Midrash how thick the walls were. That is what protects that environment. That wind should not go inside of it. Rabbi Shmuel number Tabayu. Haiman David Milsa, whoever underwent the Milsa. Litoy Midi Vahadar Lepek should right away eat something before you leave that environment. Now, I'm not comparing, because us donating blood is much less than the blood that they would bloodlet. But here now, this is we taka should extrapolate many good health tips. The Eloi Talmud, if you're not going to eat, you're going to get up after bloodletting and just walk out, then since you are weak, it's a very interesting concept. We will mirror our environment. Normally a chassid has to make the sviva, but for you to influence your environment, you have to be up. You have to be in the zone. You have to be freilach. You have to be gesund. The moment a person is weaker, instead of them making the environment makes them. So look at this, you're going to mirror your environment. So he says like this, if you're going to encounter a corpse is greenish. So then yarka ape, you'll become green. If you're going to encounter a murderer, he's going to get the upper over you. You're going to die. I give up. If you're going to encounter a davar acher means many things. Here it means a chazir. So then you're going to mirror a chazir. What does a mirror a chazir? One of the common machlas that a chazir has, a chazir is filled with soras. So you will become inflicted with soras. And the solution for that is to eat. You're going to have koyach. Again, when you have koyach and you're going to be busy influencing your environment, the environment will mirror you. Next statement, right? All in the simon. This is the fourth. Rab and Shmuel if you bloodlet, lishi purta, first wait and only then get up. Don't jump up. The Amar Mar, Hamisha the bottom, Kregum Lamisa Yosef Achayim. Closer to death than life. The Elohim, Achal, and right away Va'amad. Or number 2, Shasa, right away Va'amad. Yashan, right away Va'amad. I heard a good word that one of the benefits of saying Moida'ani as we have to in bed is that the time that it takes to say the Moida'ani, and only then do we get up, that is to prevent the Yashan Va'amad. Hikizdam Va'amad, which is what we're talking about. And the fifth one is Shimish Ritasai Va'amad. They bring the person closer to death than to life. All right, more about bloodletting. Amar Shmuel. Pursa Didima Kol Talasin Yoimin. The time of bloodletting is once in 30 days. Give yourself a 30-day break in between. I think Lahavdil today by the Goyim, when I want to donate blood, how much time, Dr. Daniel, do I have to wait? 2 months. 2 months. So now, Bein HaPrakim, is so cute. Bein HaPrakim means when a person is in between different stages in life. No, it's when do you enter, according to our Gemara, your middle age. Now, I just want to make it clear. People used to live there until they're 60. So all this is delayed today. Today we're younger for much longer. At least we think so. Bein HaPrakim says Rashi, Bein HaPrakim in life is 40. 40 is your next stage in life. Then Yemait. Yemait means not once in 30 days, once in 60 days. And then In the next stage in life, says Rashi, 5 lines from the top, right? That's more 8 lines from the top. After 60 years old, then Yachzer V'Yamayit. Yachzer V'Yamayit means 3 months, and they don't give another stage because people didn't live that long. Okay, beautiful. Amar Shmuel. Pursa the Dama. What days of the week should you bloodlet? Chad b'Shabsa, Sunday. Arba'a means Wednesday, and Umala Shabbat, and on Friday. Mamash, like Loy Adu Roish. Loy Adu Roish. Adu are the days with your bloodlet. Aval Sheni Mechamish Loy. Don't bloodlet, not on Mondays, not on Thursdays. So Amar Mar, Mishesh Lois Chus Avos. Only if someone has Chus Avos to protect him from a judgment in the heavens, because you are a little bit in danger as we are learning. Your body becomes weak. Then Yakas Dam B'Sheni Yuvachamishi. Why is that? Because Shal Beis and Shal Maila, Vishal Mata Shavim Ke'echa, they are in session at the same time. Like Rashi tells us over here, that really, I'm reading inside the Rashi, really a person is judged every day. But since Ezra was misaken that the Bati Dinim should be open Mondays and Thursdays, and the Beis Din Shal Maila mirrors the Beis Din Shal Mata, so they particularly don't judge a person every day on that level. The real judgment is Mondays and Thursdays. So if it's a day of judgment, don't do something that is on one hand healthy, but on the other hand, at that moment it's dangerous. That's the reason why we say Behuracham and Tachum, just to know. Since Mondays and Thursday, that's the Gemara here. That Beis Din Shal Maila is the Shalmata Shavim. That means that they they mirror each other. Ezra said Mondays and Thursdays, so there's a special Beis Din on Mondays and Thursdays in the heavens. So that's why we ask God. Okay, so first of all, we took out Mondays and Thursdays. Shabbos, we can't. It's netilas neshama, shchita. It's an ab. We're not doing that on Shabbos. So what's left? Why not on Tuesday? Mishum, here's if you have the little picture that I took from Rabbi Ari Kaplan, Sefer Yitzira, that has a Gavaldic chart. Mishum, the Kaimelon Mazim Zove, because Mazel is dominant on an hour that's an even and not odd hour. And let me give a few quick words of introduction. Introduction number 1, this is the big Rashi here that's very important. Introduction number 1 is that, as it says in the Chumash and Bereshis, that Hashem created the Moedas HaShamayim, and we're speaking specifically about the Shiva Koich V'Leches. The Shiva Koich V'Leches is, like Rashi points out over here, is Shatzam Chanchal. Shatzam Chanchal. I'm going to touch each one in a moment. So there are 7 planets. We include in those 7 the sun and the moon. They are luminaries, and the other 5 that they are visible to the naked eye, and they are moving. They are orbiting around the earth as the Torah places the earth in the center. Now, when it says that God created or He placed these Moedas, these Shiva Koich V'Leches on Wednesday for a Yid is Tuesday night. For everyone, it was Tuesday night. Let's go with 6 p.m. Let's call 6 p.m. the first hour of Wednesday. Right? You have first 12 hours of the night, and then you have another 12 hours of the day. God placed the farthest most one from the earth in the first hour. When you put the earth in the center, this is the way we're going to learn. The farthest mazel, the farthest planet is Saturn, otherwise known as Shapsai. That's the shin of Shatzam. That was at 6 p.m. And that mazel is the dominating force, and whatever type of influence that God gives through that mazel happens primarily during that hour. The next hour from 7 to 8 p.m. is Tzaddik is Jupiter. The next hour was the Mem Shatzam is Ma'adim, Mars. The next hour is Chanchal, Ches is Chama. The next hour is Nun is Noiga is Venus. Koichav is Mercury. And the 7th, the closest to Earth, is Lavan. Now, after we have all those 7 placements, so if you go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 p.m., God is not placing anything new. Everything is already placed in the orbit. But at 1 p.m., the mazel of Shapsai, again, is the dominant one. And at 2 p.m., the mazel of Tzedek is the dominant one. And if you can take a look at this chart, what's happening is that it takes a full week for you to get back to square one meaning which day of the week? Which time in the week? Will Shabtai, will Saturn be the dominant mazel at 6 p.m.? It's going to take all the way again to Tuesday night. No, it's every single other hour of the week. Every hour is different. Okay, so that's number one. Now we're going to ignore for our Gemara the nighttime hours because people did not bloodlet at night in those days. You didn't have electricity. It was dark at night. Not only that, like Tosfos points out, people already would not do a medical procedure at the last hour of the day. So if you can look in my chart under the line, which is the daytime hours, you can see right away Wednesday 12 means the last hour of the day, which is an even number. Mars, Madim, is the dominant one, but no one bloodlets at 5 p.m. Wednesday afternoon. So first of all, every hour has a mazel that dominates. That's number one. Number two, we're going to bring in the Gemara and Psachim. God willing, we're going to learn the sugya of zugais, that there's a certain koyach that's given to demons and to other negative spiritual forces when things are done in pairs. So what we are what are we looking for? Whenever you have two negative forces that coincide, that already can bring about something negative. So Bechlal, the hour that Madim is dominant, that alone already is one. That's already one down, one strike. If the hour that Madim is dominant is a even number hour, not the first hour of the day, the second or the fourth or the sixth, then you have both the concept of zugais, you have a pair, and you have Madim. That's already an hour in which we don't want to, that entire day we don't bloodlet because you might bloodlet during that hour. So guys, we already ruled out Mondays and Thursdays, and we already ruled out Shabbos. So what days are left? So if you can look, I'm not going in the order of my chart, but look to the right where it says Sunday. You'll see that Sunday, what hour is Madim dominating? The seventh hour, an even number. On Sunday, Madim is only dominating 1 hour during the day. So we're good Sunday. On Monday, we're calling out. On Tuesday, that's why we're ruling out Tuesday. If you'll see, not the first time. The first time Madim is dominating is on the first hours even. I don't care about that one. I care about the one on the 8th on Tuesday. Madim is dominating on the 8th hour of the day. So they don't bloodlet any time on Tuesday. You might end up doing it on the 8th hour of the day. Now, Wednesday, that we could bloodlet, Tosfos points out, the first time Mars is dominating is on the 5th hour of the day. But the 5th hour of the day is an even number. I'm not worried about it. Mars is also dominating. Look on the chart on the left and the bottom. On the 12th hour of the day, I don't care. It's an even number, but no one bloodlets. And the 12th here means that's from 5 to 6 p.m. So that's the reason why we are giving. Now, the kasha is, we could bloodlet on Friday. Look inside the chart before we go back in the Gemara. In the chart, you'll see that on Friday, Mars dominates on the 6th hour of the day. So we got ourselves a problem over here. Now, there was an advantage of bloodletting on Friday, as we learned in our sugya, that it's important to drink wine after bloodletting. Not everyone had money, but for Shabbos, people had wine for Kiddush. So there was an upside of bloodletting on Friday, and people taka did it. But if we're trying to prevent, like Shmuel just taught us, the kaimole ma'adim bezave, because during the Wednesday day hour, during the Tuesday day hour, mazel madim is dominating during a even number. Again, that what we point to 8th hour of the day. So right away the Gemara asks on Shmuel, Mala Shabsan nami kaim bezave. But on Friday, mazel madim is dominating on the 6th hour of the day. So on this, the Gemara says, especially when it comes to things that are not that concrete. This is more of a mystical danger. On top of that, people were dashu beirabim because they couldn't afford wine that they wanted to drink after bloodletting. So once people are already doing something that is considered relatively dangerous, sometimes we say that God protects the fools, and we have that protection. Now, how far to extend the Shem Shem Avaya is not so pashut. I just want to point out, if you want to just open up your chart, you'll see something that on Friday night, the first hour of the night, which is 6 p.m., which mazel is dominating? Mazel Maidim. Mazel Maidim, which is Mars, which is why we don't make Kiddush, because wine from the 7 liquids is connected to Gevura. Again, we're having two negatives coincide. Together with that, we have the Bachal Madim. Through the mazel of Madim, there are certain negative forces that come into the world. So people don't make Kiddush, but it's only a minute. Again, because you can say Shomer B'Soyim Hashem, and just finally, if you just keep the chart open, something that's not mentioned in our Gemara, but it's mentioned in Kabbalah. and that is that the first hour of the night for Yidden, whichever mazel is dominating them, that mazel affects the entire day. And the first hour of the daytime for the goyim who begin counting the days from the morning, not the way here midnight, but the way goyim really count, they are affected by the daytime. That mazel affects the entire 24 hours. And that's why, just to know, the names of the days is connected to the mazel of that day. And all of these names really originated from pagan idol worship, that on Sunday, look inside Sunday, the first hour of the daytime of Sunday, which mazel is dominating? The sun. That's why Sunday is called Sunday, it's the day of the sun. And they were avoided the sun. And Monday, it's moon day. This for the goyim, not for the Yidden, because the Yidden look at the first hour of the night, the goyim the first hour of the day. Tuesday in French is Mars. I know that in English it doesn't have to work, which is a good thing. We're one step removed from Avodah Zarah. And the same thing is with Wednesday and Saturday on Shabbos. Mamish, the names of the week have to do with which mazel is the dominant one in the first hour of the day. And Yidden B'chlal, first of all, Ein Mazel Yisrael, as we'll learn a lot about later. And on top of that, not only do we have the koyach to go above the mazalos, but B'chlal, we're not influenced by the mazel that's dominating the first hour of the day. We are only influenced by the first mazel that is the dominant one of the night. And again, so Friday night is mazel. Let's go by.
Rabbi, where's this chart from, please?
So again, the Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan, who wrote a Gavaldik translation of the Sefer Yetzirah, he has this chart because he based it on the Rashi, because you have to go. It takes a whole week to come back to the same hour. Again, just to make it clear, the mazolis have no power. They are a tool. It's Hashem who's influencing the world through these mazolis. Even that, we have the power even to overcome it. But there's a certain influence through the mazal. Again, so we don't want madim to be mazolis. That's what Shmuel is saying. Like, one more Shmuel. Now the next one, Hashem shouldn't like all of us. What's the reason behind it? These are the mystical things. Now, even though we said you could luglet, adu, aleph, dalet, and vav, not every dalet should do dalet if Wednesday, which means the fourth day of the week, is also the fourth day of the month. That already not. Or if the fourth day of the week, Wednesday, is on base on the 14th day of the month, it's like a double four. Or if you have dalet on the fourth day of the week, if that is the 24th of the month, or dalet the leka say, if it's a Wednesday that is so late in the month, like the 27th onwards, that you don't have 4 days afterwards in that month, well, all of them, it's a sakana, double fours. Rosh Chodesh, the day of Rosh Chodesh, and the second day of the month. It's not a sakana, but already chulsha. It's going to make you weak. Shlishi loiva, the third day of the month. Well, letting that is a sakana. Now, again, all these things, do we apply them when a person donates blood? Maybe it could be. It's good to know. It's definitely good to know. Bloodletting on any area of Yantif, chulsha will make you weak, but one is bad. But Mali, Yomer, that's Santo. But bloodletting on any Shavuos, that's not chulsha, that's worse, that's sakanto. And therefore, the Gozur Abban, they asked you to bloodlet on any end of Yantif. Now, why is it that an end of Shavuos it's a sakana? So says the Gemara, nothing basic, because there's a unique wind, and we have a name for that wind. It's called Tabayach, the slaughtering wind, a wind that's in the shachir. And why is that wind brings ahead the world? Because the Elyahu Kibul Yisrael Torah, right? We just learned this in Shabbos, in the Sugi of Matan Torah, and this was Taka Machamishi and Siva. When we were asked and we responded to Nasa and Nishma, if we would not have responded to Nasa and Nishma. So above we learned that Hashem picked up a mountain called for Lemar Kigigas. Here we're learning another nuance to that. That if you would not have said Nasa and Nishma, that wind would have caused us to die. It would have affected our flesh, it would have affected our blood. And like we learned in Chassidus, YOMI, the Scott of the Nasa, that's important. No, it's not that then. Every year out of Shavuos, every year, whatever happens again. Every year out of Shavuos, there has to be a Nasa V'Nishma. And if God forbid we don't have a Nasa V'Nishma, and this wind affects us, so there's this negative wind. So then it's a sakana to bloodlet. So if you're going to do it, Chazal like look, never do it on every Yom. That's the guy. Now, bloodletting had certain benefits, but it made you weak. So he says like this: that if a person ate a wheat, he ate something made out of wheat, and right away you were makis down. Now, when a person eats, there's a certain heaviness that you have, and that heaviness is not healthy. So there's the benefit of bloodletting. All the benefit will be used up. Take away the heaviness of the meal. It's like you use the whole benefit of bloodletting for something inconsequential, like chaval. You wasted it. If you ate it right away, yeah, the bloodletting made you healthy. What did it do? It took away the heaviness of the meal. But there's no other benefit. There's nothing left. Says the Yorba when do we say no? It's don't bloodlet right after you eat, because the benefits will be all used for something that, anyways, with time you wouldn't have needed it. However, but that's only if you want the benefit. But when people bloodlet often, their body begins to produce extra blood. And then it's not only you're doing it for a therapeutic benefit, then your body has too much blood in it. So if you're bloodletting to lighten the load of the blood, then do it any time. I don't care if you're doing it right after a meal. You got to get the blood out of your body. Another statement. Hamek is down after bloodletting, you see allowed to drink right away. But eating, wait the time that it takes you to walk a half a meal. If a meal is 18 minutes, then eat 9 minutes afterwards. Today, when you donate blood, they give you the sugar poison right afterwards. First of all, don't have poison. Second of all, don't wait. More saying, don't eat right away. Wait the time that it takes. Wait 9 minutes. Let's go to 9 minutes. If I doesn't mean shesila altig ma'ale. Only if you drink right away is it good. But if you don't drink right away, it's bad. Kashay? No. It's better to drink right away. If you don't drink right away, it's not going to bring you the benefits, but it's not going to hurt you. Take it. Another question. When we say achila chatzi meal, 9 minutes later, doesn't mean habasar hachi or umikami hachi kashay. Is it detrimental or again? Take it. Let's go back. Listen up. Regarding food, healthy food, that only if with one zuz you can buy 100 pumpkins, only then should you buy it, because it has such little nutritional value. Only buy it if it's for cheap. Likewise, only buy heads of animals if you can buy with one zuz 100 heads. But lips of animals, even if you can buy 100 with one zuz, don't waste your zuz. You know why? Because there is zero nutritional benefit in lips. But guys, you know what lips are today? Hot dogs. It's a red garnished. And sometimes in the yeshiva, it wasn't going. So they called it a yoima de mefagri de rabbanan. Whenever there was a day that people were not learning well. It was like a lazy day. So people would say, today it's lip day. Yoima de sefamayu. And I never knew, says Rabbi Yosef, what they meant. But now I understand. Lips has no benefit. That's what they were saying. Whenever people are doing nothing, then it's a nothing day. It's a lip day. Let's go right there quickly. Question, I'm saying hot dogs, at least when I grew up, maybe today, but all the people that are in the food business, they tell you they have the best meat in the world. By me, hot dogs were lips and some hooves and all of the cardboard on the floor, all of that with the ketchup. Right. The question in the Mishnah whether you can tie it. Everyone says you can tie the umbilical cord. Rabbi Yossi said, you can even cut it. Because if not cutting it, it's a danger. The question on top of it, right? So the question on top of it, like we have Rabbi Yossi saying, says the B'rai, so this is something that, science has a lot to catching up to do. The time name whenever a doctor, Daniel, take the placentum and put it, they used to bury it to keep it warm. Because if the placentum will be kept warm, it's going to affect that the baby will be kept warm. Problem is Shabbos, you can't bury it. You can't make a hole in the ground. So what do you do? So even on Shabbos, it's so healthy that the toimim hashil yekadeshiyechem avolot. But you have to make a shinoi. So you can't put it in the ground. You don't need to put it in the ground. Amar Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel. That what? that the wealthiest ones would bury it in bowls of oil. But nice Hashirim would bury them. They would put it in wool to keep it warm. But nice Aniyim, at least we'll put them in rags. Point is, you gotta wrap the placenta. That yes, and the Chachamim say no, you can only make a knot. You can only tie it, but you can't cut it. That if the Kabul shell, that if you have twins, there are two cords connected to the same placenta. Over there, everyone is minded that you can cut it. My time, because the menachei aidodi, because they pull one the other, and if you don't cut it, so the mother will be careful. But one baby, God forbid, can pull out the navel of the other. That Kolon Barsha Shabbos in Yecheskel, Rashi brings down on the bottom. You have Hashem giving us trichacha by telling us that we were abandoned as an infant, and God took us off from our abandonment, and God did all the good things for us. And where is our gratitude? It's like it's a mussar that we were ingrate. So whatever is written there that God did to us as a mashal, that is something that we taka do for every chaya on Shabbos, like we mentioned, and whether she asks for it or not, right after she gives birth. And what's the pasuk? It says, right? When it came, God says to your birth, to the birth of the Jewish people. So when you were born, God is telling us, your umbilical cord was not cut, like we were abandoned. So mikan, that Rabbi Yossi is right, that we should cut it. And we were not washed with water for the smoothing of the skin. And we were not salted. They used to salt babies to make their skins stronger. And we were not wrapped. They used to wrap babies to keep all the limbs straight. So it's tight as the Gemara. That we give birth, we're active. There's no, I don't care about tircha, I don't care about chil Shabbos. Like that we do, we're chaytach the tabor like Rabbi Yossi. That when a baby is born on Shabbos, you warm up water. Doesn't mean just to wash. You wash the baby even though you have to warm up water. That we were not salted. That you do put salt, either salt, and Rambam writes that they would grind up hadassim to strengthen the skin, to help the skin. You do that on Shabbos. And the last tail, like who told that we were not wrapped, mikan Shabbos, that we do wrap the baby. And Rashi points out that if you remember a few daf ago, Kufchav Gimel, we spoke about asuva yenuke. Asuva yenuke was the whole issue that you're doing it for, like a chiropractor, but you're not giving food. So we're not going into that, says Rashi. There's direct manipulation, which might be problematic or not. But what everyone did was if a baby came out and one joint was misplaced, then they would have to manipulate the joint. That's an issue, even though we learned before you can do it. This is even if no joints are out of place. They would tightly wrap a baby to make sure that all the limbs are going to be straightened, and all of these things could involve theoretically some sort of issue, whether they're nice or they're upon, but all of these things are done for a baby, and we are waiting for Mashiach to come, and we need all this. We need a lot of love and tender care from the Eibushin, and that's going to happen to us now. Amen. Hadron Allah lefanin. God willing, tomorrow already beginning. Rabbi that was great.
Yeah, Rabbi.
Guys, clear? You got the Maisa Metazu, guys? Hope so. Danny's very quiet. Daniel, you good?